Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today as we host the annual Meet the Candidates debate event. My name is Cynthia Rodriguez. I'm the Student Assistance Coordinator in the Office of the Dean of Students at UIC. I also serve as the Election Planning Committee Advisor for the UIC Student Elections. I'm excited to hear from each of our candidates today, but before we begin, I just wanted to explain how the format of today's event will sort of run. And so there will be three sections for today's event. We will first begin with hearing from our candidates for the USG House of Representatives, as well as the candidates for the undergraduate members of the UIC Senate. The second section, we will hear from the Student Trustee candidate, who will have the opportunity to answer a few questions, and we will open up for Q&A from the audience for that portion as well. And then lastly, we will finish up with the debate section for today's event, and beginning with the USG Vice Presidential debate and ending with the USG Presidential debate. For the most part, I will be keeping time as well, so there will be time as on the slides for the presentations too, but in an effort to keep everyone on track for tonight, I'll also serve as timekeeper for this evening. As a reminder, the event will be recorded and posted onto the Student Elections website for future viewing. And at this time, I would like to introduce our moderator for this evening, Diva Suisa. So Diva is a UIC student and a finance major in the College of Business Administration. Diva, feel free to take it away.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Cynthia, for the introduction. So let's begin tonight's event. First, we will be beginning with our candidates running for House of Representatives of the undergraduate student government, and then we will be moving forward with the candidates running for the UIC Senate positions. After your name is called, you'll have 60 seconds to introduce yourself and your campaign. Sarah Khan, you may begin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Khan, and I am running for the position in the House of Representatives. As a future member, I hope to help raise awareness and speak up for the student body at UIC, but also have the chance to engage and understand political issues that continue to arise as we make our way to become strong, independent, and influential leaders. I hope to stay in connection with the student body and listen to those who are unheard and continue to improve on in USG. Thank you, and I hope to hear from everyone and to wish the candidates who are running for the President, Vice President, Student Trustee, House of Representatives, and UIC Senate all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Next up, we have Abigail Pateno.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Abigail Patino, and I am running for the USG House of Representatives. As a member of the USG House of Representatives, I will build a bridge between students and faculty by being a clear voice for the students. I believe that any schooling experience is made better through student engagement. As a House representative, I will promote academic success and healthy lifestyles, including physical and mental well-being. I will ensure that students are heard and their emotional and academic needs are met. I will introduce and fight to pass initiatives that better student life. I will represent the student vote in meetings and honor student wishes by implementing new and innovative ways for students to communicate their needs to the undergraduate student government. Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail. Next up, we have Sarah Malik.
Hi, my name is Sarah Malik, and I'm a first year at UIC, and I'm running for a spot on the House of Representatives. Being involved with the issues on campus is something very important to me, and this past year I have served as a representative on the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, and I've tackled issues related to sexual violence and harassment on campus, and I hope to be able to continue to do that in the following years. The overall safety of the students on campus is very important to me, and I hope to have the opportunity to do that again.
Thank you, Sarah. Next up, we have Kayla Taylor.
Diva, I think you can move on to the next candidate.
Okay, next up we have Mohammed Haq.
Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed, and as mentioned, I'm running to retain my position as a USG representative. I'm running mainly to advance three distinct goals. One is advocacy for student bodies' interests, promotion of our diversity and ensuring a smooth transition from the pandemic back to normalcy. Now, I know that these same three values are those that are held identical with all UIC students. We all want to have a future for ourselves and leave a better future for those who come after us. So as UIC representative, it will be my top priority to address pressing issues when they arise and connect with all of you regardless of background, origin, or any other differences. Our diversity is a strength and we must use it to lift ourselves and help each other realize our true potential that lies underneath. This has to be a team effort, and I'm hoping that all of you will chip in to help us succeed. So thank you all for your support. Good luck to all the other candidates. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Next up, we have Lamisa Khan.
Hi, my name is Lamisa, and I'm going to be running for House of Representatives. This is my first time running for this role, and I wanted to be running because I can represent myself as a positive role model. And as a person who listens to the voices of other students, I feel like I can provide the service that the students, like the problems that are being faced, I can provide a better service for them. I'm an individual who actively listens and patiently addresses the conflicts by using my different communication skills that I have. I can help guide my peers by providing the solution and using my voice. Using my voice, I can be able to inform others about the problems that are happening in school and just manage different ways to come up with any sort of solutions that arise on campus. Yeah.
Thank you, Lamisa. And next we have Michael Fernandez. Michael is also a candidate for the undergraduate Senate position.
Hi everyone, my name is Michael Fernandez and I'm a rising sophomore and a current member of the House of Representatives within USG, as well as an undergraduate senator on the Senate Committee for Educational Policy. And I am seeking to be retained for these positions for the next school year. Having both these positions has offered me a great dynamic for working with faculty as well as students on UIC legislation. I've had the great opportunity to work on issues within USG and the Senate on issues such as the respondus and the ethnic requirement that has been proposed by USG. One of my goals for the next year is to continue helping with the Legislative Affairs Committee on the sexual assault initiative that we're leading, as well as working on the smooth transition from online learning to in-person learning.
Thank you to all our House of Representatives candidates for the introductions. Next up, we'll be moving forward to our undergraduate student senator candidates. We have Royce Quadros. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Royce Quadros, and I'll be running for the Undergraduate Student Senate. And as a senator, I would be working hand in glove with the administration and the undergraduate student government to represent the best interests of students and probably like address problems like textbooks, fees, wages, mental health, etc. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, candidates, for your wonderful introductions and for sharing about your campaign. Next, we'll be hearing from Lavleen Randhawa, who is running for a student member of the Board of Trustees. Lavleen, we have a series of questions prepared for you. You will have 90 seconds to respond to each question. After each questions have been answered, we will take up to 3 questions from the audience members for Q&A. Again, you will have 90 seconds to respond to each question from the audience. Audience, please feel free to type your questions into the chat. First question we have, what are some initiatives you plan to push forward as student trustee?
First of all, good evening, everybody. Thank you for giving me the platform to talk and kind of know other like candidates running for 2021-2022 fiscal year election. Coming back to the question, some initiative I'll be focusing on after getting the post will be like safety of the campus, like safety of the student would be #1 priority. Raising student voice and concern to the Board of Trustees, where I can, it's a Board of Trustees is a higher level of university I can take the concerns to. And as you know, whichever student trustee of the 3 universities gets to vote will also vote on the vote table But yeah, those are the main two, like problems I see. Like the concern of students are like, like community college, uh, not community college, like the universities are like, like sometimes students have like, like getting in depth, and there's no way for the student to not work like full time and pay college off. So I'll be looking forward to it. But the first priority will be like securing the campus.
Okay, thank you, Lavleen, for your response. Next question we have, what are your plans for making university more affordable, especially for out-of-state, low-income, and independent status students?
Obviously, the first thing is like make university possible for in-store, in-store, like in-state student first. Secondly, when it comes to the point where we can, like put the tuition down for in-state student, we'll also think about something for outstate. I think as a country as a whole, we shouldn't be having this system that, in-state students should pay more than the outstate students should pay more than in-state students. There should be, fee structures like set up by the university where the outstate student not pay like, like abundant of more from what the like in-state students are paying. Yeah.
Thank you for your response. Next up, we have, how do you plan to work with administration to ensure the voices of your constituents are heard?
Voices of students heard. You see, first thing, like the student like government is the first body students should respond to. We have to like plan some events in the university to get the students input. Once we get the student input, we will pass some bills in like student government with the help of all your senators and House of Reps. And then after that, we'll be taking those like initiatives, those thinking to those thoughts to the board of trustee level, and I will work my best to like make it possible. Yeah.
Thank you for your wonderful responses. Next up, do we have any additional questions from our audience today?
So I don't see any questions currently in the chat, so I'm going to pull a couple questions that we received from the registration link when folks were registering for today's event. And so give me 1 second to pull those up for you, Lavleen. Okay. What, if you can tell us a little bit about what qualifies you for the position of student trustee?
I was I've been student leader, working for student, helping for student has been my passion. I was in my community college, I was the student ambassador for Higher Learning Commission, where I helped my campus to get like the accreditation from Financial Student Aid Committee. So student get FAFSA for it. Then I was a student trustee of William Rainey Harper College, which is in Palatine. After that, I served as a vice chair of American Association of Community College Trustees, where I represent a student in Washington, D.C., and New York and San Francisco in the ACCT National Congresses, where we asked for more budget. We asked for more MAP grant from the state legislation, and we asked for more federal grants from the federal lawmakers. Just talking about my community college, I made some like commitments where I worked with the Harper College Police Department and Schaumburg Police Department that to make like campus secure. We had like many issues like where people are driving restlessly, and now if you like anytime if you come to Harper College, you'll not see that happen. Like the driving rules are strict, so that's also one of the things I was able to do. And one more thing I did in like Harper was like I created like now there are like more number of like tutors and you know, teaching assistant staff in Harper, whereas like as compared to before the term 2018, there was only like I think like 30% increase in total number of tutors and other staff. So I think that qualifies me for a position of student trustee. And basically, like it's just a passion behind, and I think everybody of you have to help the you know, it's a big thing to take the initiative to study and help your fellow people to get that to get there too.
Great, thank you. Just one other question from the registration links. So understanding that you are running unopposed in this election, if you can please explain why voters can rely on you as a student trustee and should vote for you come election day.
We have a university, you know, it's in Chicago, and every week, you know, you would get a notification or email to like, you know, something happened, something like police activity there, police activity here, something happened in dorm, somebody stole a car on the gunpoint. Where our campus is like open, like there is UIC police, but I don't see any, like, to be honest, I don't see any like steps taken to like there are police activities, but what's the safety of the students? I will put that forward. I will, you know, we would add, you know, like ask university to hire some counselors who will be there. There will be more CCTV cameras. What I'm will be like telling the board of trustees to, and as I can approach the like Governor Pritzker, you know, we should have like specific amount of grant just for the safety of the campus, just for more, you know, kind of like whoever like comes into university should not be like mean to say like nobody, you know, just like come to our campus without any reason. It should be like student or their parents or guardians, that's okay. But you know, the safety should be first at all cost. And I think I'll make that, like, I promise you guys that I will make that happen.
Thank you, Lavleen. So there is one more, I apologize, one additional question. And so if you can tell us a little bit about how you might ensure a safe transition to in-person learning this fall.
You know, we're all going through you know, a scenario which nobody have ever thought of, like, you know, from the last Feb or March, where it's almost like a year. Safe transition is not like easy. It's hard to, you know, like, you know, like get back to campus, but it's possible. It's possible by if we, you know, use the guidelines offered by the federal government or CDC. Wear face mask. I know everybody gonna be like vaccinated, as President Biden had like said, like, you know, like before fall semester. So it's gonna be like if we like, you know, use our like safety, like 6 feet distance, and like wear face mask, try to, you know, wash our hands more, and try to be more, you know, like health conscious, try to care about the others, try to like care about our like teachers, fellow students. We can make it possible. We can like get through this, like all this obstacle called coronavirus.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Diva, you can take it from here.
Okay, thank you, Lavleen, for your thoughtful responses. At this time, we'll be moving on to the vice presidential debate with Arthur Kosovsky and Ms. Tivila Gomez. I would like to remind the candidates of the format for the debate section of today's event. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer each question. After each candidate has had the opportunity to respond, I will ask if there are any rebuttals each candidate would like to add. If a candidate chooses to add a rebuttal, they will have 90 seconds to do so. Following a rebuttal, the other candidate will be given 60 seconds to respond. Candidates, are you ready? Okay, so for the first question we have, what makes you the better qualified candidate for this position? Arthur, you may go first.
Hello, and of course, good afternoon, everyone. And I thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. But for why I am qualified, well, simply because I feel like recently, ever since joining or becoming a college student and becoming a leader in my student organization, National Society of College Good Scholars, I feel like I really learned to value service and really make it my mission. Because right now, so recently I am a recent new representative from the USG subcommittee, Student Affairs Committee. But even before that, I've always observed since freshman year to now how students really, they do feel sort of like ignored by the current UIC administration. So, and that's kind of like why I'm running under the party slate, Advocacy in Action, because I feel like considering that now service is my mission, I feel like I have to advocate and bring into action student demands in regards to saving money, mental health resources, and empowering student groups, especially students when we transition to in-person learning. So as for why I'm qualified, I feel that one, I've really learned to value service and really make it my mission. Two, I have experience in serving students for NSCS and in our greater Chicago community.
Thank you, Arthur, for your wonderful response. Misty, same question goes for you.
Okay, hello everyone. It's great to see all of you. So the reason that I think I'm the better qualified candidate for the position is because I have been in student government for about 2 years now. I can say that I've done a lot of initiatives. I've gone through a lot of administrations, and I love what I do. I genuinely have been able to hear students out. I've constantly been trying to do the best that I can. So originally I was in the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, and this year I moved on to the other committee just to try something new. When I was in the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, we did a lot of things in terms of working with cultural centers. So that is something that I can say. And in terms of my leadership positions, I'm actually president of a dance group right now. I was also their vice president last year. I've enjoyed doing that. So I got to able to communicate with the dance community and their concerns especially. And then in terms of something else I'm involved with is I am a Gamma Phi Omega. I'm currently their fundraising chair, and I'm the co-chair for their stroll. And it's been very interesting to be a part of the Greek life, because Greek life is something that a lot of people kind of hold close to their heart, especially the ones who are more cultural based. They love to put input, and I've kind of just been here listening and doing the best that I possibly can. And I think that I am better qualified for this because of my past experience as being a leader. And yeah.
Okay, thank you, Misty, for your response. At this point, would either candidate like to make a rebuttal? If not, then we will be moving forward to the next question. So question number 2, with UIC being a large commuter campus, student engagement has often been a challenge. How do you hope to tackle this issue? Misty, you can answer this question first.
Yeah, this is definitely a big concern that I've been hearing about because of student engagement being such a challenge. Something I'd like to tackle with this situation, I know that we have the commuter center. Personally, I would love to be working alongside the commuter center. We've done so before in terms when I was within different committees, and we've made events for commuters so that they come in and can see us. I think it'd be very, very beneficial for student government probably to host a huge event when COVID, if possible with COVID, or if through Zoom where commuters can come and meet us. I know a lot of commuters always say like, who are student government? What are they doing? And I think, and that's in our fault. I would love to make it seem like, hey, we are here for you, and how they can get more engagement. I think there should be more programs for commuters. I know they just want to be exposed to more clubs. I know involvement fair does happen every semester, but maybe try again halfway through a semester of kind of showing what different organizations that we have on campus, because ultimately once they get involved, I know from what others have told me, once they find one club, they're just hooked in, and that's kind of what changes their whole experience with UIC. And yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Misty, for your response. Arthur, same question goes for you.
How do I plan on increasing engagement for UIC commuters? Well, like the commuter center, I feel like we have to maybe see if we could provide them with some more resources. And also I would like to incentivize commuters to really take part in more UIC clubs on campus. I feel like there are plenty of great clubs out here that could encourage leadership growth. And I feel like we have to do a better job in advertising those clubs' potentials, because as a commuter myself, there is a lot of balance, yes, between having to do work, school, and travel. But I believe that if we were to better advertise clubs, better advertise some of the opportunities on campus, we could really incentivize commuters really to take part in these experiences, do them to develop leadership skills, to develop their resume, and really make their college or university experience be memorable. Plus, and recently I know, ever since being a freshman, people always complain about how really there is not really enough scholarship opportunities or internship opportunities on campus. But I think this is simply false. I think those opportunities are available on campus. It's just that nobody really knows where to find them. I believe that if I can work with faculty or advisors from the careers service offices, I think we could really increase engagement by displaying these opportunities more.
Okay. Thank you, Arthur, for your response. At this point, would either candidate like to make a rebuttal? If not, then we will be moving forward with the next question. In your opinion, what are the best qualities of a leader, and how do you plan to embody those qualities if elected? Arthur, you may answer this question first.
Yes, best qualities of a leader. I believe the best quality of a leader is someone who can listen to others. Two, is passionate. Somebody, and when I say passionate, I mean somebody who actually cares about the issues. And then three, somebody who really doesn't really know how to take no for an answer. Before, I believe I mentioned how that one, I am a new person, new representative for USG. I'm part of the Student Affairs Committee, but I believe my experience outside in other groups like NSCS, there I'm a leader. And we're a pretty small chapter, with a pretty small budget, but with that small budget, we've done a pretty good job in really like facilitating group discussion, making sure our funds go to those who are really in financial constraints in our greater Chicago community. In the past, I've helped high school students who really just couldn't really afford items like socks, or like, I know in the past I gave them gift cards to Jewel-Osco, gloves, and any sort of school supplies. But for me, a good leader is somebody who really can stare straight at the problem, somebody who can advocate for student demands, somebody who really doesn't know how to take no for an answer, and somebody who at least really just cares overall. He may not know the answer for everything, but at least he is, for one, bringing the attention to these issues. And if he does that, then at least these issues could be resolved either now or perhaps sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Arthur, for your response. Misty, same question goes for you.
Of course. So I think the best qualities a leader can have is definitely communication and empathy and integrity. Communication mostly because, as I said before, I've had to communicate a lot with different organizations. And from what I realized, it's very important to be able to understand different people's different backgrounds and be able to communicate with all types of people, all types of different cultures and everything. You have to be very careful in how you communicate, because something that you say can come off a different way to someone else. And I think communication in that case is very important because of it. You have to be careful and make sure that everyone is doing well. And I say empathy because obviously we leaders, we always think like we have to be doing the right thing. We have to be strict on others, but if you're empathetic, your people you lead would obviously start to trust you more. If you're understanding of them, they will be there for you as well. And they won't, from my experience, whenever I have been showing empathy, they've been really been able to work well with me. And so I feel like that creates a different type of dynamic where someone can see you more as a mentor instead of the person that's just leading me, someone who's just the figurehead. So that's very important to me. And I say integrity because, you have to be true to yourself. Obviously, you want to show people who you are and make them aware, like, this is me. And I love all of you and I'm passionate to be leading you kind of thing. But yeah.
Thank you, Misty, for your response. At this point, would either candidate like to make a rebuttal? If not, then we'll be moving on forward with the next question. So what makes you proud to be a UIC student? Misty, you can go first.
Wow, that one's I'm just proud to be a UIC student in general. Wow, that's a hard one to pinpoint where. I guess I'm proud to be a UIC student. Oh, I got one. So there's a thing, and a lot of people don't know, but UIC is actually really known for being a dance hub. So a lot of people, in terms of like different dance people around the Chicago area, they know about the atrium. They kind of say, I'm born from the atrium kind of thing. So obviously a lot of dance group is about that. And that makes me so proud of UIC because our dance group and the people who have been able to dance within UIC, like obviously we all start as students, but that's the one thing that when I heard that I was like, wow, I'm proud to be a UIC student. I'm proud that there are UIC alumni are reaching out not only like in the professional world, which is, more of like office jobs and everything, but also in the different industries such as acting, such as dancing, and such as art. Like that's just amazing to me, especially when most people would think UIC, they don't think an art school or they don't think that that's any possibility. But, so far, that's something I'm really proud about. I'm also proud of the diversity and inclusion that has been able to be shown. I don't know if I'm running out of time. It doesn't show, but I'll just end it at that for right now.
Okay, thank you, Misty, for your response, and sorry about the timing error. Arthur, same question applies to you.
Yes, thank you. Very good question. Very strange, but very close to me because, like I said, I am a commuter. I plan on being a commuter until I graduate. But I remember, being a freshman, I didn't really care in the past about being a UIC student. But by sophomore year, I would say it kind of started to change once I really started to get involved with the community. UIC is a very diverse community, but there's also plenty of like cultural hubs, different clubs for you to get involved in. Like for one, I'm very thankful for the Newman Center at UIC for accepting me and really getting me more involved with those kind of people. Because in UIC, I feel like when I go to campus, I have a community of people to really work with, to talk with, to engage with. And I know if it wasn't for the Newman Center, I wouldn't have been more passionate about getting to know some of my advisors, some of my professors, learning kind of like maybe research opportunities they have, what kind of research they're doing. If it wasn't for really getting more involved with some of the student community groups, I wouldn't have even considered becoming a leader in my own group right now in NSCS. And really, I guess the reason why what makes me proud to be a UIC student is the fact that one, I have plenty of networks, the people to know, plenty of communities, close friends. So, and I wish to, as VP, to encourage people to do what I did, to get involved in a community, because that's what makes being a UIC student great.
Okay, thank you, Arthur, for your response. I would like to thank Arthur and Misty for a wonderful debate. At this time, we'll be moving on to the presidential debate with Anshu Nidamanuri and Bayan Hamad. I would like to remind the candidates of the debate format for the debate section. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer each question. After each candidate has had the opportunity to respond, I will ask if there are any rebuttals each candidate would like to add. If a candidate chooses to add a rebuttal, they will have 60 seconds to do so. Following a rebuttal, the other candidate will be given 60 seconds to respond. Candidates, are you ready?
Yeah.
So first question, what do you see as the top 3 issues facing students today? Anshu, you may begin first.
Thank you for the thoughtful question, and thank you everyone for coming out today. When I was walking around campus asking students for the 3 big issues that were facing them, and while my time in being a student leader here at USG for the past 3 years, the 3 biggest issues that I've come across for students is the cost of attending UIC. I aim to eliminate the financial barriers to attend UIC and make UIC more equitable for all students on campus. Another issue that I've realized while being a UIC student is counseling and mental health. Currently, it takes 3 to 6 months to meet with someone when you're having an anxiety attack or a panic attack, and that's absurd. And so addressing those mental health needs for students, especially in a heightened time of online learning. And then the third biggest thing that I've seen this year is COVID-19 and online learning. The true beneficiaries of making school online has been UIC. While education has lowered in quality, the prices continue to stay the same. It is UIC administration that's been benefiting from online learning and not the students. And so aiming for students to be the beneficiaries of how UIC spends its money and how UIC uses its resources have been the 3 biggest things that I've realized at my time being a UIC student.
Thank you, Anshu, for the very thoughtful response. Bayan, same question applies for you.
Hi, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak to students a little bit about our candidacy. So to answer the question, 3 main issues that I see facing UIC students today, and that's from my experience working with students continuously. 3 main things are really tackling minority students, how they are, whether they are really accessing the resources available for them on campus. For example, a student reached out to me about reporting a discrimination that they witnessed, and that is sad. That is really sad to me. That's really upsetting because it raises 2 issues: that the discrimination happened in first place, and the other thing is that the students are not aware who they can turn to eliminate such things from happening. The second thing is student engagement. So due to the pandemic, obviously it hindered student abilities to be engaged. A lot of students are mentally unprepared to engage with student organizations and events, especially our new students who are incoming freshmen. And the third thing that I see is with safety. Like Lavleen mentioned, our campus is highly vulnerable to incidents. And I'm sorry, I ran out of time, but that is the third issue. It's really safety and how offices and departments on campus are responding to such incidents.
Thank you, Bayan, for the very thoughtful response. At this point, would either candidate like to make a rebuttal? If not, then we'll be moving forward with the next question. How do you hope to work with your administration to move your agenda forward if elected? Bayan, you may take this question first.
Thank you for the great question. So working with the administration, when we say that word, but do we really know what it means and how to apply it? Working with administration really means to work with certain offices on campus, like the Office of Diversity, Office of Access and Equity, to ensure that our students to ensure that they are responding to students properly and in a timely manner. Because when a student reports a certain concern, they really want closure. They want you to respond how you're going to take proper steps to respond to their concerns. So working with administration to move my agenda forward if I am elected would really come down to holding those people in position accountable. Are you doing what you're supposed to do to help our students relieve those concerns? Are you implementing practices and strategies and putting trainings into work to educate our community, our UIC community as a whole, our students, our faculty, our staff, on how to respond to student concerns, how to safely prevent discrimination, harassment from happening, how to safely respond to such incidents when they happen. Another thing is working directly with our student affairs, for example, uh, to ensure that we are engaging students as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Bayan, for the very thoughtful response. Anshu, same question applies for you.
Thank you. And this is an extremely important question. Having been in student government for 3 years, currently being the treasurer, working with all the committee chairs is an important and paramount job description. Having been treasurer, while it's great that all the committees do events and the president creates initiatives, at the end of the day, if there's money that needs to be spent, it's up to the treasurer to work with all these committee chairs to make sure that everything goes smoothly. One of my greatest accomplishments this year has been ensuring the smooth process of the funding here at USG, and then continuing that open dialogue with all the committee chairs, and then also ensuring that this dialogue is going over the committee chairs and going to other clubs on campus, meeting with e-boards of other clubs, getting their input, and creating joint events with USG and other clubs to have those important discussions, because USG officers don't know everything. And so having those different clubs and having those e-boards have their input in the conversation can make a huge difference and can really create points that we've never thought of. And then also working with faculty, working with the Center for Student Involvement, the Dean of Students Office, the Commuter Center, working with all these departments on campus to ensure that students remain informed about the issues that are facing campus, and having that open dialogue, not only with students, but with faculty, to see how we can all support each other.
Thank you, Anshu, for a very thoughtful response. At this point, would either candidate like to make a rebuttal?
Yeah, I would like to make a rebuttal and just make it clear that working with administration is not the easiest thing in the world, and you will have people stand up in your way and try to not really publicly or make an announcement that they are trying to prevent you from doing something or prevent you from implementing something that will move our campus forward. But there are people who will not listen to you, or will, for example, meet with you and not really work on the action plan and take proper steps to ensure that our students are being cared for and heard. So I just want to reiterate that it's not an easy process, and it takes time, and you have to be really, really patient.
Thank you, Bayan. Anshu, would you like 60 seconds to respond to the rebuttal?
Yes, thank you. So what I mean by working with administration, I don't mean, only gaining their input, and if they say no, it's a no. It means to understand the barriers between getting stuff done, understanding why it is we can't have something passed, why it is we can't have something. Because if we don't hear what the administration has to say about why we can't have something done, we cannot give a proper response on how to go across that barrier. And so continuing that pressure with student groups, having a large student group population, a coalition of a bunch of student groups going to the administration saying, this is what we want, and hearing out why we can't have it, and then putting more pressure on the administration, saying that their answers are not good enough. We can't, shut out the administration out of the conversations, because they do have a lot of power. And that doesn't mean that when they say no, I just back down, but it does mean that we understand exactly what they're saying so we can come back with a proper response.
Thank you both.
Okay, thank you, candidates, for a very thoughtful response. For our next question, can you speak on the importance of engaging the student voice and what steps you hope to take in ensuring the student voice is heard? Anshu, you may begin first.
Yes, thank you for this question. The engagement of student voices is probably one of the most important thing here at UIC. Currently, we have a lot of clubs on campus, and we have roughly 30,000 students, but a lot of students see UIC as a place to come in, get their work done, and then go back home. Not a lot of people spend their whole day, their whole 4 years immersed in UIC culture. And so, ensuring that students join clubs on campus, ensuring that they, are engaged on campus and a part of different groups on campus will really engage the student voice. And what I hope to do to make sure this happens is having open dialogue with students, having events with various clubs on campus to just promote discussion, working with the cultural centers to have cultural events, working with various mental health coalition groups, mental health clubs to talk about mental health, working with labor groups such as the Young Democratic Socialists of America to discuss what they want to see change on campus, and just continuing the dialogue with all these groups on campus so that we can all bounce back off each other, have ideas bounce back, and just see what we can do to really make UIC better for all the students.
Thank you for your very thoughtful response. Bayan, the same question applies for you.
Thank you for the question. I just want to say that currently, as we are online, we are in this pandemic situation, I am so deeply proud to see a lot of our students advocating for other students, which is even harder to do because when we are stepping out of our comfort zone and seeking solutions to issues that may not directly impact us, that is much harder to do than simply not taking steps to solve these problems. But to answer the question directly, to refer to a different question that was asked earlier about engaging student commuters, which is really important because most of our students are commuters. So really what it comes down to is working with Center for Student Involvement, the Student Leadership and Civic Engagement Office, working with the Commuter Center to create a presence for USG in those departments and get student input, really ask for student input. What do you want to see on campus? Ask our students, how do you envision the future, which is already being planned for right now. I'm already having this conversation with the Office of Diversity to create this type of event, to have our students put their input on how they envision the future, and that is the most direct way of engaging their voices.
Thank you, Bayan, for your very thoughtful response. At this point, would either candidate like to make a rebuttal? If not, then we will be moving along. So next question. Campus safety is often a huge concern for UIC students. What will you do to help address these concerns and improve this situation? Bayan, you may go first.
Yeah, that is definitely a very good question. Student safety has to be a top priority no matter what. And addressing concerns and improving the situation comes down to working with people who can implement. For example, we have an idea, like right now, it's in the work, right? We have an idea of implementing a gender-based violence training that will train the UIC community on how to safely respond against sexual harassment, right? But how do we take those proper steps to ensure that this type of training happen and other types of training happen to ensure that our campus is safe on different levels of discrimination, harassment, really just someone being robbed, right? Now those trainings how do you implement them? You talk to people in positions about it who can implement these things. For example, the Center for Student Involvement, the Student Engagement Office, and through a lot of conversation and a lot of Zoom meetings, unfortunately, we do still have this type of training being implemented, and hopefully this would set a blueprint for how the future of those trainings will look like and how the future of how the future of safety at UIC will look like. Thank you.
Thank you, Bayan, for your very thoughtful response. Now, Anshu, same question applies for you.
Thank you for this really important question. Safety is definitely on the mind of every student when attending UIC. With the constant alerts of what is happening around campus, it becomes very alarming. And so one of the first steps to fixing this issue is having open dialogue with the UIC Police Department and Student Patrol, and having events where they can discuss the proper steps on what to do and how to prevent certain things happening to you while you're on campus. Having those events where the UIC Police Department can discuss with the students directly if you're in a certain situation, how do you react? But safety isn't always physical. Sometimes it's mental. Sometimes students have panic attacks on campus. Sometimes students have anxiety attacks on campus. Sometimes students feel so vulnerable due to the anxiety and stress created by online learning or even in-person learning that they don't know what to do. And we plan to implement crisis counselors on campus. So when students have a panic attack or an anxiety attack, they don't get an aggressive police response. They have crisis counselors there on UIC that are trained for those situations to address the students' needs at the time. So while the UIC police may be important in the safety aspect, there's also other problems that need to be addressed as well. Internal safety, mental safety, and just making sure that you can walk through campus without feeling anxious.
Thank you, Anshu, for your very thoughtful response. At this point, would either candidate like to make a rebuttal? If not, then we would like to thank Anshu and Bayan for a very fruitful debate. And I would like to also thank all the candidates for their participation today and for sparking some really important conversation about different issues today. If you have any other questions for our candidates, please forward your questions to our EPC email, studentepc@uic.edu. We'll be sure to send them along to our candidates, and responses will be shared on the EPC Instagram account at studentepc_UIC. So be sure to follow for more updates. This concludes the Meet the Candidates debate. Best of luck to each of our candidates. As a reminder, polls will be opening online at go.uic.edu/studentelections beginning Tuesday, March 16th at 9 a.m. and will close on Wednesday, March 17th at 4 p.m. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.